The massive space station hung in the void like a floating crystal palace. Its walls were made of living crystal that glowed with soft blue light. This was Harmony's Reach, the most important place in the galaxy. Here, 12 different alien species worked together to keep peace among the stars. Inside the station's docking bay, workers rushed around preparing for very special guests. These workers had never seen humans before. They had only heard stories, and most of those stories were scary. Daeho Kim stood at the window of his ship and looked out at the crystal station. He was 35 years old with broad shoulders and calm dark eyes. Once he had been a soldier, but now he worked as a diplomat. His job was to make friends with alien species and keep peace between worlds. "It's beautiful," said Bora Park, standing next to him. She was 29 years old and much smaller than Daeho, but everyone who knew her said she was the smartest person they had ever met. Bora could speak 47 different alien languages perfectly. She understood how different species thought and what made them happy or angry. "Yes, but look how delicate it seems," Daeho replied. "I hope we don't break anything by accident," Bora laughed. "We spent 6 months learning how to be polite to these aliens. I think we'll be fine." Their ship, Soul's Promise, moved slowly toward the docking port. The ship was built strong and heavy, like all human ships. Humans had learned to build things tough because their homeworld, Earth, was a dangerous place. But Daeho and Bora didn't think about that. To them, their ship was normal. Deep inside the space station, Speaker Veltar watched the human ship approach on his viewing screen. Veltar was tall and thin with skin so clear you could almost see through it. His people, the Velthari, had built this station. They were peaceful creatures who hated violence and loved harmony above all things. "The human ship's metal is very thick," said his assistant, looking at the scanning reports, "and they have many backup systems for life support." "Why would they need so many?" Veltar felt worried. Perhaps their ships break down often. Or perhaps... He didn't finish the thought, but he wondered if humans built their ships for war. The Council had been watching Earth for many years. They knew humans were smart and learned quickly. But the reports from Earth were troubling. Humans seemed to fight each other often. They lived in dangerous places. They ate things that would poison other species. Some council members thought humans might be too violent to join their peaceful galaxy. But humans were expanding into space fast. They had already built colonies on several worlds. The council had to make a choice: invite humans to join them or try to stop them before they became too powerful. "Send the welcome message," Veltar told his assistant. "Let's see what kind of beings these humans really are." On the human ship, Daeho received the welcome message. The alien words appeared on his screen in perfect Korean, translated by their computer. "Greetings, beings from Earth. We welcome you to Harmony's Reach. Please follow the blue lights to Docking Bay 7. We hope your visit will be the start of a long friendship between our peoples." "They seem nice," Bora said, reading over his shoulder. "Yes, but remember what we learned in training. These aliens have never known war. They don't understand violence at all. We have to be very careful not to scare them." Daeho and Bora had been chosen for this mission because they were the calmest, most peaceful humans Earth could find. The human government knew that first impressions would be very important. They had sent their best diplomats. The ship docked with a soft bump. Through the airlock came the sounds of the alien station, soft musical tones and gentle humming. The air smelled like flowers and rain. "Different from Earth," Daeho said quietly. "Much quieter," Bora agreed. They gathered their things and prepared to meet the aliens. Both humans wore simple blue uniforms that showed they came in peace. They carried gifts from Earth, art, music, and books that showed the best of human culture. As they walked through the airlock, automated systems scanned them. The scanners found dense muscle and bone structure. They found immune systems designed to fight off many diseases. They found bodies that could survive in conditions that would kill most aliens. But the humans didn't know they were being scanned. They just walked forward, smiling and ready to make new friends. In the control room, the scan results made the alien technicians nervous. These humans seemed built for survival in harsh conditions. Why were they so tough? What kind of world had made them this way? "Should we tell Speaker Veltar?" asked one technician. "Not yet," said another. "Maybe all creatures from their world are like this. We should wait and see." Daeho and Bora entered the station proper and gasped. The walls were alive with soft light. Plants from dozens of worlds grew in perfect harmony. Water flowed in streams through the air, held in place by gentle force fields. It was the most beautiful place either human had ever seen. "This is amazing," Bora whispered. "How do they make it all work together?" A figure approached them. It was tall and graceful, with skin that seemed to glow from within. This was Veltar, the Speaker of the Council. "Welcome to Harmony's Reach," Veltar said. His voice was like music. "I am Speaker Veltar. We are honored to meet the representatives of Earth." Bora stepped forward and spoke in perfect Veltari language. "We are honored to be here, Speaker Veltar. I am Bora Park, and this is Daeho Kim. We come seeking friendship and understanding." Veltar was impressed. The human spoke his language beautifully. "Perhaps the reports about human violence were wrong. Please follow me. The council is eager to meet you." As they walked through the station, other aliens stopped to stare at the humans. Some had never seen creatures that walked on two legs. Others had never seen beings without fur or scales. But all of them noticed something that made them nervous. The humans moved with perfect balance and awareness. Their eyes constantly scanned their surroundings. Their muscles were always ready for action. To the aliens, the humans looked like predators even though they were smiling and friendly. "Tell me about your journey," Veltar said as they walked. "Was it difficult?" "Not too bad," Daeho replied. "We had to adjust our life support systems a few times when we passed through different stellar environments, and we had to reroute around a solar storm, but nothing we couldn't handle." Veltar felt a chill. The humans spoke of dangers that would destroy most ships as if they were minor inconveniences. What kind of beings could travel so easily through hazardous space? They reached the Grand Assembly Chamber, where the council would meet. The room was enormous, with crystal walls that changed color, based on the emotions of the people inside. Right now, the walls glowed with curious yellow light. "Tomorrow we will have our formal meeting," Veltar explained. "Tonight, please rest and prepare. We have prepared quarters for you that should be comfortable." "Thank you," Bora said. "We're looking forward to learning about your people and sharing our own culture." As the humans were led away to their rooms, Veltar watched them go. They seemed polite and friendly, but something about them made him nervous. They were too calm, too confident. It was as if they expected danger around every corner. That night, as the humans slept peacefully in their quarters, the council held an emergency meeting. The alien leaders shared their concerns. "Did you see how they moved?" asked one council member. "Like hunters. And their ship," said another. "Built like a fortress." "Perhaps we made a mistake inviting them here," worried a third. Speaker Veltar listened to all the concerns. Finally, he spoke. "Tomorrow we will learn the truth about these humans. We will see if they come in peace or if they are as dangerous as they appear." But none of the aliens could sleep well that night. They all wondered the same thing. What kind of world had created such tough, alert, dangerous-looking beings? And what did those beings want from the peaceful galaxy? The Grand Assembly Chamber was even more beautiful in the morning light. The crystal walls sparkled with gentle rainbow colors as the council members took their places. Each alien species had their own special area designed for their needs. Daeho and Bora walked into the chamber wearing their best diplomatic clothes. They had practiced this moment for months. Both humans felt excited and nervous at the same time. "Remember," Daeho whispered to Bora, "speak slowly and clearly. Don't make any sudden movements." Speaker Veltar stood in the center of the chamber. Around him sat representatives from 11 other species. Each looked very different from the others. Ambassador Quilin floated in a tank of purple liquid. She was from a water world and needed the special gel to breathe. Her people, the Marathi, looked like beautiful sea creatures with flowing fins. Delegate Flixus sat on a perch that let his gossamer wings spread wide. The Zephyrians were insect-like but intelligent and kind. They could fly in most atmospheres and spoke in musical chirps. Counselor Thrum didn't sit at all. The Borvaki were made of living crystal and communicated through harmonic vibrations that made beautiful music. Thrum's body glowed with soft green light. There were others too. Furry creatures, plant-like beings, and entities made of pure energy. All of them watched the humans with curious eyes. "Welcome, friends from Earth," Speaker Veltar said. "Please take your seats. We are eager to learn about your people." Bora stepped forward first. She had memorized greetings in all 12 alien languages. "Peace and harmony to the wise Veltari," she said in Veltar's native tongue. Then she turned to each group in turn, speaking perfect greetings in their languages. The council members were amazed. No species had ever learned so many languages so quickly. But as Bora spoke, They began to notice something strange about the humans. The air in the chamber was carefully mixed to be safe for all species. It contained gases that would be poisonous to most creatures from any single world, but the humans breathed it easily as if their bodies could handle anything. "Your language skills are impressive," said Ambassador Quilin, her voice bubbling through her gel tank. "How long did it take you to learn our tongues?" "Only about 6 months," Bo-Ra replied cheerfully. "Humans are good at adapting to new situations." The aliens exchanged worried glances. 6 months was incredibly fast. Most species needed years to learn even one foreign language. "Tell us about your homeworld," Delegate Flixus chirped. "What is Earth like?" Deho smiled, happy to share. "Earth is wonderful. It's a quiet little planet where we don't have too many problems. We just have to deal with earthquakes, hurricanes, volcanoes, floods, droughts, ice ages, asteroid impacts, solar radiation, deadly animals, poisonous plants, and disease outbreaks. But mostly it's very peaceful." The chamber fell silent. Each thing Deho had mentioned would be considered a world-ending disaster by the council species. But he had listed them like minor inconveniences. The crystal walls began to shift from curious yellow to nervous orange. Did you say asteroid impacts?" Ambassador Quilin asked weakly. "Oh, just small ones usually," Deho said. "The big ones only hit every few million years. We have systems to watch for those now." Counselor Thrum's crystal body began to resonate with worried frequencies. The Borvaki's entire civilization lived in carefully controlled underground cities. The idea of rocks falling from space was their worst nightmare. "And you said deadly animals?" Delegate Flixus's wings were starting to shed stress scales. Bo-Ra nodded enthusiastically. "We have lots of interesting wildlife. Sharks, bears, lions, poisonous snakes, venomous spiders, crocodiles. Oh, and bacteria and viruses that can make you sick. But most of them leave humans alone if you're careful." The aliens were horrified. Their worlds had been carefully terraformed to remove all dangerous life forms millions of years ago. "What about your weather disasters?" asked another council member. "Those can be tricky," Deho admitted. "Hurricanes can knock down buildings and tornadoes can toss cars around like toys. Earthquakes split the ground open, and volcanoes cover everything in hot ash. But humans have learned to build stronger structures and warning systems." Speaker Veltar was beginning to understand why the humans seemed so tough and alert. They came from a world that was constantly trying to kill them. "How do your people survive in such conditions?" he asked carefully. "Oh, we're very adaptable," Bo-Ra said proudly. "Humans can live almost anywhere. We have cities and deserts where the temperature reaches 50 degrees. We have research stations in Antarctica, where it's 60 degrees below zero. We have settlements underwater and cities built on the sides of volcanoes." The council members looked at each other in growing alarm. These humans had conquered their entire world, including places that would instantly kill most other species. "Would you like to try some of our food?" Veltar asked, hoping to change the subject. He gestured to a table loaded with delicate crystal fruits from the Velthari homeworld. "Thank you," Deho said. He picked up one of the crystal fruits, which was incredibly hard. Most species had to grind these fruits into powder before they could eat them. Deho bit into it with a loud crunch. The sound echoed through the chamber like breaking glass. All the Velthari in the room flinched. They watched in shock as Deho chewed the crystal fruit easily and swallowed it. "Interesting texture," he said politely. "Very crunchy. What do you call this?" Those are iron crystal fruits," Veltar stammered. "They're supposed to be ground into powder first." "Oh," Deho said. "Well, they're good this way too. Human teeth are pretty strong." Bo-Ra tried one as well, crunching through it just as easily. "It tastes like minerals and starlight," she said thoughtfully. "Very unique." The crystal walls were now glowing bright orange with alarm. The aliens were realizing that these peaceful humans had teeth and jaws strong enough to bite through substances that would break most alien dental structures. "Perhaps we should discuss your technology," suggested another council member, trying to stay calm. "Of course," Bo-Ra said. "What would you like to know?" "How do you travel between stars?" "We use fusion drives with electromagnetic shielding," Deho explained. "The ships are built with multiple hulls in case we hit space debris or micrometeors. All our systems have backups, and the backups have backups." "Why so many safety systems?" asked Delegate Flixus. "Space is dangerous," Bo-Ra said simply. "If something breaks, you die. So we build everything to survive the worst possible conditions." The aliens were starting to see a pattern. Everything about humans seemed designed for survival in deadly conditions. Their bodies, their technology, their entire way of thinking was shaped by constant danger. What do humans do for fun? Ambassador Quilin asked, hoping that human recreation might be more peaceful. Deho and Bora looked at each other and smiled. We have lots of fun activities, Bora said. Sports, games, music, art, literature. What kind of sports? Well, there's football, where teams try to carry a ball past the other team's defense. And boxing, where people hit each other until one falls down. And racing, where we see who can go fastest. And mountain climbing, where we climb tall mountains just to see the view from the top. Each sport Bora described sounded like combat training or deliberate risk-taking to the aliens. You climb mountains for fun? Delegate Flixus chirped in disbelief. The bigger and more dangerous, the better, Deho said cheerfully. There's a mountain on Earth called Everest that's so tall and cold that many people die trying to climb it. But hundreds of humans try every year anyway. They die, and others still try. Counselor Thrum's harmonic resonance was reaching frequencies associated with panic. It's about the challenge, Bora explained. Humans like to test themselves against difficult things. It makes us feel alive. The crystal walls were now pulsing red with alarm. The council members were beginning to realize that they might have invited a species of unstoppable predators to their peaceful station. Tell us about human children, Speaker Veltar said, hoping that young humans might be less frightening than adults. Human children are wonderful, Deho said warmly. They're very curious and brave. We have special schools where they learn to read, write, do mathematics, and survive in wilderness conditions. Survive in wilderness? Basic survival training, Bora nodded. How to find water, build shelter, start fires, identify safe food, treat injuries, signal for help. Just in case they ever get lost. The aliens stared in horror. These humans trained their children for survival scenarios that would challenge adult members of most council species. What happens if a human child gets lost? Asked Ambassador Quilin. Usually they're fine, Deho said. Human children are pretty tough. We tell them to find water first, then shelter, then signal for help. Most of them know how to do basic first aid and can survive for days on their own if they have to. The meeting was not going as anyone had planned. The humans thought they were showing how peaceful and reasonable their species was. The aliens thought they were being introduced to the most terrifying species in the galaxy. As the session ended, Speaker Veltar managed to keep his voice calm. Thank you for sharing so much about your people. We look forward to learning more tomorrow. But as the humans left the chamber, the crystal walls were glowing red with alarm. And every alien in the room was wondering the same thing. What kind of monsters had they invited? The second day began with what the council called a cultural exchange session. Each species would share something special from their civilization to help everyone understand each other better. Deho and Bora sat in their assigned seats, excited to see what the aliens would show them. They had prepared their own presentation carefully, choosing what they thought were the most peaceful and fun examples of human culture. Speaker Veltar went first. He activated a holographic display that filled the chamber with beautiful flowing lights. The lights moved like living things, creating patterns that made everyone feel calm and happy. This is Velthari harmony art, Veltar explained. We create these patterns to bring peace to troubled minds and help different species understand each other. The humans watched in wonder. The art was beautiful and made them feel relaxed. Next came Ambassador Quilin. Her display showed underwater cities of incredible beauty, with buildings that flowed like coral reefs and gardens of sea plants that glowed with their own light. Marathi architecture, she bubbled proudly. We build with the currents, never against them. Our cities live and grow like natural reefs. Delegate Flixus showed Zephyrian music, which sounded like wind chimes made of crystal singing in perfect harmony. The music seemed to come from everywhere at once, filling the chamber with peaceful sounds. Each species shared something beautiful and gentle. Mathematical theorems that looked like flower petals when displayed visually, philosophical ideas about peace and cooperation, poetry about the beauty of quiet contemplation. Finally, it was the humans' turn. We're excited to share some examples of typical human entertainment, Bora said cheerfully. We wanted to show you the lighter side of human culture. She activated their holographic projector. The first display showed a large stadium filled with cheering people. This is from our Olympic Games, Deho explained. Every 4 years, the best athletes from all over Earth compete in various sports. The display showed a human throwing a heavy metal ball. The ball flew through the air and landed more than 20 meters away. Then it showed humans jumping over bars that were nearly 2.5 meters high. Then runners moving so fast they seemed to blur. The aliens watched in shocked silence. The humans on the display were performing feats that would be impossible for most council species. The metal ball was heavier than some aliens could even lift. The heights they jumped would require mechanical assistance for most species. "These are your best athletes?" asked Delegate Flixus weakly. "Oh yes," Bora said proudly. "Though really, most humans can do similar things. These are just the very best." The display changed to show what the humans called adventure tourism. Many humans enjoy challenging activities during their vacation time, Deho explained. The aliens watched humans leaping off tall cliffs with only fabric wings to slow their fall. They saw humans diving deep underwater to swim with creatures that had rows of sharp teeth. They watched humans climbing straight-up rock faces that were hundreds of meters tall, using only their hands and feet. Ambassador Quilin made a gurgling sound and began to float sideways in her tank. She had fainted. Are they trying to die? Counselor Thrum's harmonic resonance was shaking with terror. "Oh no," Bora laughed. "They're having fun. Humans enjoy testing themselves against nature. It makes them feel alive and accomplished." The concept of deliberately seeking danger for enjoyment was completely alien to the council species. Their cultures had spent millions of years removing all sources of risk and danger from their lives. The presentation continued with human cuisine. "Food is very important to human culture," Deho said. "We love to share meals and try new flavors." The display showed humans eating foods that would be toxic to most aliens. Spicy peppers that contained chemicals used as weapons by some species. Fermented foods that would be considered spoiled and dangerous by alien standards. Raw fish that could carry parasites. "This is what you consider safe to eat?" Speaker Veltar asked, his voice barely a whisper. "These are comfort foods," Bora said happily. "Things we eat when we want to feel good. Many humans can eat almost anything organic. Our digestive systems are very adaptable." The final part of their presentation was what they called children's entertainment. "We thought you'd like to see what human children enjoy watching," Deho said. The display showed animated films created for young humans. But from the aliens' perspective, these children's movies looked like horror stories. They watched animated human children facing down monsters 3 times their size. They saw young humans surviving alone in dangerous wilderness areas. They watched children solving problems through determination, courage, and sometimes physical confrontation with threats. In one scene, an animated human child was shown living peacefully with large predators that had massive teeth and claws. "Your children watch stories about surviving monster attacks?" Delegate Flixus was shedding stress scales so rapidly that the floor around his perch was covered with them. "Children love adventure stories," Bora explained. "These stories teach them to be brave and resourceful. Human children identify with characters who overcome challenges through courage and cleverness." The aliens realized that what humans considered appropriate entertainment for their young would be rated as extreme psychological horror by most civilized species. "Do human children actually encounter such dangers?" asked a trembling council member. "Sometimes," Deho admitted. "Earth can be unpredictable. So we teach children to be prepared. Better to know how to handle danger and never need the skills than to need them and not have them." The chamber's crystal walls were now pulsing deep red, responding to the intense fear and alarm of the alien council members. I think we need a break," Speaker Veltar said faintly. But Bora, noticing the aliens' distress, tried to be reassuring. "Please don't worry about us," she said kindly. "Humans are very adaptable. We can handle almost any environment or situation. That's why we were so excited to meet you. We're really good at adjusting to new circumstances and making friends with different species." To the aliens, this sounded like a threat. A species that could handle any environment and was good at adjusting to new circumstances sounded like an invasive species that could take over any world they wanted. "We've survived and thrived in every climate zone on our planet," Deho added helpfully, "from the frozen poles to burning deserts to the depths of the ocean. Humans are everywhere on Earth." Now, the council members heard this as confirmation that humans were an unstoppable, expanding force that had conquered their entire world and was now looking for new territories. How do you handle conflicts with other groups? Asked Counselor Thrum, his harmonic frequencies wobbling with fear. Well, we prefer diplomacy, Deho said, but humans are prepared to defend themselves if necessary. We've learned that it's important to be ready for anything. This was the final straw. The aliens interpreted this as evidence that humans were a militaristic species that used diplomacy as a first option, but were always ready for war. What about resource management? Asked another council member desperately. Competition drives innovation, Bora explained cheerfully. When humans compete for resources, it makes everyone work harder and find better solutions. Competition has helped us develop amazing technology and explore new frontiers. The council species came from cooperative societies where competition was almost unknown. To them, this sounded like humans admitting they were aggressive competitors who fought over resources and used that fighting to become stronger. Speaker Veltar stood up shakily. I think we need to end today's session early. We have much to discuss. As the humans were let out, they looked confused and worried. I don't think that went very well, Bora whispered to Daiho. No, he agreed. They seemed upset by our presentation. Maybe we should have chosen different examples. Maybe we should ask them what kind of cultural exchange they were expecting, Bora suggested. But the aliens were too scared to explain. As soon as the humans left, the council members began talking rapidly among themselves, their voices filled with panic. Did you hear what they said? One alien gasped. They've conquered their entire planet. And they're teaching their children to fight monsters, added another. They eat poison for fun, a third alien moaned. They jump off cliffs and call it entertainment. Speaker Veltar raised his hands for quiet. We must remain calm, he said, though his own voice was shaking. Perhaps there is still a peaceful solution to this situation, but privately he was wondering if it was already too late. The humans were already here, in the heart of galactic civilization, and if what they had just seen was true, there might be no way to stop them from taking over everything. The crystal walls continued to pulse red with alarm as the council faced the terrifying possibility that they had invited the most dangerous species in the galaxy into their most sacred space. While Deho and Bora were being escorted to their luxury quarters, the council held an emergency meeting in a secure chamber deep inside the station. The walls here were made of special crystal that blocked all electronic signals and prevented any outside listening. Speaker Veltar stood before the 11 other species representatives. His normally calm face showed deep worry. Around him, the other aliens whispered frantically among themselves. Order, order, Veltar called. We must discuss this situation calmly and rationally. Ambassador Quilin was floating upright in her tank again, but her gel was cloudy with stress chemicals. Calmly, she bubbled. Did you see what those creatures showed us? They throw themselves off mountains for entertainment. And their children, chirped Delegate Flixus, his wings still shedding scales. They train their young to fight predators. What kind of species does that? Counselor Thrum's crystal body was resonating with deep, worried tones. The mathematical probability of their survival should be nearly zero. Yet they have conquered their entire world. Let us review what we have learned, Speaker Veltar said, trying to bring order to the discussion. He activated a holographic display that showed notes from their observations. First, their physical capabilities. They can breathe atmospheric mixtures that would poison most of us. They can bite through substances harder than most of our building materials. Their bodies seem designed to survive in multiple extreme environments. The aliens nodded grimly. Each point was more frightening than the last. Second, their world, Veltar continued. They describe natural disasters as normal occurrences. They live in conditions that would be considered uninhabitable by our standards, yet they speak of these things as minor inconveniences. Don't forget their expansion, added another council member. They've spread to every part of their planet, including places they admit are trying to kill them. Third, their technology, Veltar went on. Their ships are built like military vessels with multiple backup systems and heavy armor. They design everything to survive the worst possible conditions. Because they expect the worst possible conditions, Ambassador Quilin said quietly. Their entire civilization is built around surviving constant threats. Fourth, their culture, Veltar said, his voice growing more worried. They seek out danger for recreation. They train their children for survival combat. They believe competition and conflict make them stronger. The chamber fell silent as the full implications sank in. Finally, Delegate Flixus spoke up. What are we dealing with here? A species of warriors who have been fighting their own planet for millions of years? Worse, said Counselor Thrum. A species of warriors who won. Meanwhile, in their comfortable quarters, Deho and Bora were reviewing the day's events and preparing for tomorrow's sessions. They had no idea that the aliens were terrified of them. I think we should research each species more carefully, Bora said, sitting at their portable computer terminal. Maybe if we understand their specific concerns, we can address them better. Good idea, Deho agreed. Let me access the cultural database. What the humans didn't realize was that their cultural research looked like sophisticated espionage to the aliens watching them. Their computer systems used quantum encryption and military-grade security protocols. Their databases contained detailed information about every known species in the galaxy, including things that were supposed to be classified. The alien technicians monitoring. The human quarters watched in growing alarm as Bora and Deho accessed information systems that should have been impossible for outsiders to reach. How? Are they breaking through our security? One technician whispered. They're not breaking through, said another. They have legitimate access codes. But those codes are supposed to be for council members only. Report this to Speaker Veltar immediately, ordered the senior technician. Back in the emergency council session, Speaker Veltar received the report about the human computer activities. They've accessed restricted databases? He asked weakly. Full access, the technician confirmed. They're reading detailed files about every species in the council, including classified psychological profiles and planetary defense information. The council members looked at each other in growing panic. They're gathering intelligence, said one alien. This is a reconnaissance mission. They're studying us to find our weaknesses, said another. We have to make a decision, Speaker Veltar said grimly. What do we do about the humans? The debate that followed was intense. Some council members wanted to immediately quarantine human space, preventing them from expanding further into the galaxy. Others argued for trying to negotiate limitations on human expansion. A few suggested that it might already be too late to stop them. Look at the facts, argued one representative. They come from a world that makes them incredibly tough and adaptable. They have advanced technology and military-grade equipment. They expand aggressively and take over every environment they encounter. They train for conflict and competition, and now they're here studying us. But they seem friendly, protested Ambassador Quilin. Maybe their intentions are peaceful. Their culture considers fighting monsters to be children's entertainment, Delegate Flixus pointed out. What do they consider adult entertainment? Counselor Thrum's harmonic resonance was deep and ominous. Calculate the probability that a species survives multiple extinction-level events without developing aggressive survival instincts. The mathematics suggested is impossible. So what are you saying? Asked Speaker Veltar. I am saying these humans are exactly what they appear to be, Thrum replied. Apex predators who have conquered their world and are now looking for new territories. The debate continued for hours. The aliens discussed three main options. Option 1, immediate quarantine of all human space. This would mean using the Council's combined fleets to blockade human worlds and prevent further expansion. But many worried that this would start a war with a species that seemed built for fighting. Option 2, formal integration with extensive monitoring. Invite humans to join the Council, but watch them very carefully and limit their expansion. The problem was that humans seemed too adaptable and resourceful to be easily contained. Option 3, try to understand humans better before making any decisions. This was risky because it meant allowing the humans to continue studying the Council, but it might be the only way to find a peaceful solution. What if we're wrong about them? Asked one council member. What if they really are peaceful? Then why do they come from a world that breeds warriors? Another member replied. Why do they build military-grade ships? Why do they train their children for combat? Maybe, said Speaker Veltar slowly. Because they had no choice. Maybe their world forced them to become what they are. This thought made the discussion even more complicated. If humans were naturally peaceful but had been forced to become warriors by their terrible world, then maybe there was hope for peaceful coexistence. But if they were naturally aggressive and their world had just made them stronger, then they might be unstoppable. As the night wore on, the council reached a decision. They would give the humans one more day. Tomorrow they would try to learn the truth about human intentions through careful questioning. Depending on what they discovered, they would either welcome humans as new friends or take emergency action to protect the galaxy. We will probe them about their military capabilities, Speaker Veltar decided. We will ask about their expansion plans. We will try to determine if they see other species as threats to be conquered or friends to be protected. And if we don't like the answers? Asked Ambassador Quilin. Speaker Veltar's expression was grim. Then we will do whatever we must to protect our civilization. The meeting ended with every alien feeling deeply worried about the future. They had invited what they thought would be peaceful new friends to their station. Instead, they had apparently welcomed a species of super warriors who might be planning to take over the galaxy. As the aliens tried to sleep, their dreams were filled with images of humans spreading across the stars like an unstoppable force, adapting to every world, conquering every challenge, and growing stronger with each victory. Tomorrow would determine the fate of galactic civilization. And none of them were sure which side would win if it came to conflict with the terrifying beings from the death world called Earth. The third day began with tension so thick it seemed to fill the air like fog. The alien council members had barely slept, and when they had, their dreams were filled with nightmares about human conquest. The crystal walls of the Grand Assembly Chamber glowed with nervous yellow light as everyone took their places. Deho and Bora entered the chamber, sensing that something had changed. The aliens seemed more formal and distant than before. Even their carefully practiced diplomatic smiles looked strained. "Good morning," Bora said in perfect Veltari. "We hope today's discussions will be productive." Speaker Veltar nodded stiffly. "Indeed, today we would like to learn more about human policies and intentions." The questions started innocently enough, but Deho and Bora quickly realized that the aliens were trying to learn something specific. Unfortunately, the humans had no idea what information the aliens really wanted. "Tell us about human expansion plans," Speaker Veltar began carefully. "How do your people decide which worlds to colonize?" Deho smiled, happy to share humanity's dreams for the future. "Humans have always been explorers. We hope to spread throughout the galaxy to explore new worlds and meet new civilizations. We want to learn about different forms of life and share what we've discovered." What the council heard was completely different. To them, spread throughout the galaxy sounded like territorial conquest. Explore new worlds meant claiming new territories. Meet new civilizations could mean conquering other species. "When you say spread throughout the galaxy," Ambassador Quilin asked nervously, "do you mean all of it?" "Eventually, we hope so," Bora said enthusiastically. "There's so much to see and learn. Humans dream of visiting every star system, walking on every world where life is possible. Maybe even some worlds where life seems impossible, but we figure out how to survive anyway." The aliens shuddered. This confirmed their worst fears. Humans wanted to colonize everywhere, even worlds that other species couldn't survive on. "What about worlds that are already inhabited?" asked Delegate Flixus, his wings trembling. "We're excited to meet everyone," Deho said warmly. "Humans have always learned best by interacting with others. We hope to form partnerships and learn from more advanced civilizations like yours." The word partnerships worried the aliens. Did humans mean equal partnerships, or did they mean the kind of partnership between a conqueror and the conquered? Counselor Thrum's crystal body resonated with deep, worried tones. "What if other species do not wish to form these partnerships?" "Well, we'd respect their wishes, of course," Bora said. "But humans are pretty adaptable. We usually find ways to get along with everyone eventually." This sounded ominous to the council. Find ways to get along could mean forcing others to accept human terms. "Tell us about human resource management," another council member requested. "How do you handle situations where multiple groups want the same resources?" Deho thought this was a great question to show how reasonable humans could be. Humans believe that competition drives innovation and improvement. When different groups compete for resources, it forces everyone to find better, more efficient solutions. Competition has helped humans develop amazing technology and explore new frontiers. The aliens were horrified. The humans were openly admitting that they used competition and conflict to grow stronger. This was exactly the kind of aggressive mindset the council feared. "What about conflict resolution?" Speaker Veltar asked, his voice barely steady. "How do humans handle disputes?" Modern humans prefer diplomacy whenever possible, Deho explained. We've learned that talking is usually better than fighting, but humans are prepared to defend themselves if necessary. Our military doctrine focuses on rapid response to neutralize threats before they can cause serious damage. This was the final piece of evidence the Council needed. The humans had just admitted they had military doctrines focused on rapid response and neutralizing threats. To the aliens, this sounded like humans were always ready for war and would attack quickly if they felt threatened. The chamber's crystal wall shifted to deep red as panic spread through the alien representatives, but then something unexpected happened. Bora noticed the distress of the aliens and suddenly realized that there had been a terrible misunderstanding. The color changes in the walls, the nervous body language, the increasingly frightened questions. It all clicked into place. "Oh no," she said softly. "You're afraid of us." The chamber fell silent. "You think we're here to conquer you," Deho added, understanding washing over his face. Speaker Veltar didn't deny it. "Your species appears to be very formidable. Your presentation suggested a militaristic culture adapted for conquest and expansion." Bora's eyes filled with tears. "We're not conquerors. We're refugees." This statement confused the aliens completely. "What do you mean?" asked Ambassador Quilin. "Earth is a terrible place to live," Deho explained gently. "Everything on our world is trying to kill us. The weather, the animals, the plants, the diseases, even the ground itself. Humans didn't become tough because we're aggressive. We became tough because we had to or we'd die. We're not spreading across the galaxy to conquer it," Bora continued. "We're spreading because we're desperately lonely. For thousands of years, humans thought we were alone in the universe. When we finally learned there were other intelligent species, we got so excited. We've been dreaming of making friends among the stars." The aliens began to see the humans in a completely different light. "Your survival training," Speaker Veltar said slowly. "It's not preparation for conquest. It's because your world is genuinely dangerous." "Very dangerous," Deho confirmed. "We don't teach children to fight monsters because we want them to be warriors. We teach them because monsters are real on Earth, and we want our children to come home alive. Our competitive culture," Bora added. "It's not because we enjoy conflict. It's because Earth forced us to become better or die. Competition was how we survived." "And your expansion plans?" asked Delegate Flixus. "We want to explore because we've spent our entire history trapped on one deadly world," Deho said. "Imagine being locked in a room that's constantly trying to kill you, and then finally finding out there are other rooms with friendly people in them. Wouldn't you want to visit?" The understanding that spread through the chamber was like sunrise after a terrible storm. "You're not predators looking for prey," Counselor Thrum resonated with wonder. "You're survivors looking for safety and friendship." "That's exactly right," Bora said, wiping her eyes. "Humans have been fighting our own planet for so long that the idea of a peaceful galaxy seems like paradise to us. We don't want to conquer anyone. We want to learn from you and hopefully find our place among the stars." The crystal walls began to shift from red to a warm, welcoming gold. "But you're so capable," said Ambassador Quilin, "so adaptable and strong." "Because we had to be," Deho said simply. "Earth didn't give us a choice. But now that we know there are peaceful worlds and peaceful people, we can choose to be peaceful too." Speaker Veltar stood up slowly. "We owe you an apology. We misunderstood your nature completely." "No apology needed," Bora said. "We understand why you were worried. From the outside, humans probably do look pretty scary. What we need to discuss now," Speaker Veltar continued, "is how humans can best fit into galactic civilization." The conversation that followed was completely different from anything the Council had planned. Instead of discussing containment or restrictions, they found themselves talking about how human capabilities could benefit everyone. "Your adaptability," suggested one Council member, "could help us explore dangerous regions of space that we've never been able to study." "Your survival skills," added another, "could help other species in emergency situations." "Your technology," said a third, "designed to survive the worst conditions, could make space travel safer for everyone." By the end of the day, the Council had reached a unanimous decision. Instead of being junior members requiring supervision, humans would be granted special status as Galactic Emergency Response Specialists. When any species faced natural disasters, hostile environments, or genuine threats. Humans would be the ones other species could call for help. You've spent your entire existence learning to survive impossible situations, Speaker Veltar explained. Now you can use those skills to help others survive impossible situations too. We'd be honored, Deho said. There's one more thing, Bora added. Humans have always dreamed of exploring the unknown. Would it be possible for us to study worlds that other species consider too dangerous? We promise to share everything we learn. The Council was delighted with this suggestion. There were thousands of worlds they had marked as too hazardous for exploration. If humans could safely study these worlds, the knowledge gained would benefit everyone. 6 months later, the galaxy had changed in ways no one had expected. Deho led human rescue teams helping evacuate Zephyrian colonies threatened by solar flares. Bora served as chief xenologist for the new Extreme Environment Research Initiative, where humans explored dangerous worlds and shared their discoveries with the galactic scientific community. Human settlements became refugee centers for species facing disasters. Human ships built to survive anything became the galaxy's emergency response fleet.